And I'm the District Eagle Board Chairman. Okay. Tonight we're going to discuss raising money for Eagle projects. But first I want to go through the procedures and limitations that I think is found in the book, project book. Okay. This is not, when you do a Eagle project funding, it's not for raising money for money's sake. It's for raising money for the project, okay? We're not allowed to go out and make money and give dollar bills to somebody, but we do raise money for a project. So after the project, you find out what your project's going to be, and then you make an estimate of how much money you think you're going to have to raise. You put that in your proposal, okay? I want to make it perfectly clear. If it's under $1,000, this service project fundraising application does not have to be taken to council. Doesn't have to be signed, but I will sign it here if they bring the project to me to look at it. So I will sign it, and everything will be okay. Because the proposal, the scout will estimate how much money he needs for the project. Now, any monies, all right, how do you raise money? All right, you can go out and ask for grants. People can give you money when you put out a flyer. You're going to be doing some kind of a project that's going to help the community or the institution that they're doing the project for. So those monies, if they get money in, or if they're doing like bringing cans and bottles back and they get money, that money has to be held by either the beneficiary or in the troop treasury. Okay? That's what it says in the guidelines. So, okay. If there are any contracts to be signed, I haven't run into anything with contracts for a long time. I don't think it's any scout since 1993, when I started this stuff, has ever had a contract, right? They've had permission, they've had authorization from counties or state, whoever. But contracts I've never seen. But if there is a contract, it has to be with the beneficiary organization. Could be a church or whatever, okay? Not contract with the Boy Scouts of America. All right. If you're going to sell items, now I've never had scouts selling any items, but if you do, it has to be authorized as a good quality item to be sold. And of course, you know, we Boy Scouts sell popcorn, but that's not to raise money for Eagle projects. There are no kind of raffles or games of chance that can be used. So,
Can I ask you a question on that?
yes.
I had a scout in my troop that did a fundraiser for part of this project. He did a spaghetti dinner at the church.
Right.
And it was to raise money for a project actually at the church. But as part of the spaghetti dinner, he had a, what do they call it, a Chinese raffle. They buy tickets, they raffle away little, giveaway things.
Right.
Was that permissible, or?
I'm not saying whether it's permissible or not. If you got away with it, it's fine.
Okay.
It's
Well,
like-
the reason why I ask is in case.
It's like we
in case
don't
it
do
comes up
bingo
again.
in some churches because it's against the law, but they have bingo.
Right, yeah.
Another question, you said there's a limit on, with $1,000 we don't have to do the paperwork, the board does not have to do the paperwork. How about if material donated is in excess of that?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
Okay, no raffles. All right, if somebody is donating like a lot of money, right? And they want a document of, for tax purposes, it comes from the beneficiary. It would be a church or the county or whoever, okay? It has to come from them. And an Eagle project cannot be solicited for other organizations, okay? All right. That sort of takes care of this thing now. How do you raise money? You know, a lot of troops go out and sell wreaths and candy and all that kind of stuff, and I don't think any Eagle has done that, okay? I've had things like very innovative things that have been done to raise money. Rock concerts, I've had 2 in the years that I had, okay? And what they did is they had the concert and people would bring food or whatever other things that they wanted to collect.
We just did that last week. It was a success.
Okay. So they had, you know, if the candidate for Eagle has a band, okay, and I know there's a couple of them out there that play rock music or any kind of music. They have a concert and they do collect money for that, okay? Spaghetti dinners are great because it's a low-cost money thing. I know there's a lot of us. The meatballs may be a little expensive. The sauce is not too expensive, and the spaghetti you can make tons of it for pennies a pound. So spaghetti dinners are great to raise funds, right? Used to be that people sold cakes and cupcakes and all that kind of stuff, but the nut allergy problem has been around. They don't advocate that anymore. I know some schools don't want parents to bring cupcakes and cakes to school for birthday parties or whatever. I don't know. The world's changing, isn't it? Another place I really like to send the guys to, they have any idea what they're doing. I send them to Wendy's. Wendy's has a deal where you can have people come on a specific day. All right, you go out and you get a flyer, you say, go out to Wendy's because I'm getting the cash receipts, percentage of the cash receipts for that day. And I've known a couple of scouts have done that and raised quite a lot of money. One was $240 for the day, and the other one was over $400 for the day. So, you know, that's a lot of cash. So, it's a good thing to do. Okay. The other thing, getting donations, not money, but stuff. Okay. Like food or toiletries for war veterans and things of that nature. You put out a flyer. You can do a neighborhood with a troop, do a church, and some of the churches around here, they do wonderful things. I mean, the boys have gone in there and they got tons of food. So that's the way you don't have to raise money, you get donations. Okay? Collecting cans and soda bottles and stuff like that. That's a good thing to do. Keeps the environment clean. Some scouts have raised hundreds of dollars that way, and I say, that's a lot of cans. He says, sure is. It used to be, before they had the, where you go to the store and put them in, I mean, you can lay your arm out. They used to have to categorize them and bring them to a soda store or a beer distributor or whatever, right? All right, years ago, kids would wash the cans and bottles, categorize them and bring them. You had to, you know, put them all, you know, Cokes together, Sprites and all that. To wash that stuff, one of the troops used the canoe. Put all the cans and bottles in there, fill the canoe up, and they were going like this, washing the cans and stuff. Anyway, that's another way to collect money. Okay.
Like a comment, you mentioned food before. A lot of times when I tell the boys when they're looking to acquire food to feed their crew for their project, that type of food, what they'll do is they'll go into places like pizzerias and whatnot, and they'll start off by asking for funds. 99% of the time they'll get turned down. So then they ask the second time around, well, how about a pie or two? And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. Because they feel bad turning it down for the money, so they're always apt to offer food up, and it's pretty successful. They usually end up collecting a lot of food that way. Heroes, pizzas, and whatnot. Go high, take low.
Yeah, a lot of boys can feed the group. When they go out to do a project, maybe it's an all-day affair, maybe it's labor involved, what have you, they get donations, bagel places, pizza parlors. One of the great places up, I think it's Kerr's Bakery, across from the police department. You go in there, and they will inundate you with frozen pastries. I'm telling you, the boxes are like this big. They weigh about 20 pounds a piece, okay? And they're frozen, but give you a lot. I think the Sagamores get their stuff in too. We call it Sagamore buns and stuff. But they're very good. I remember I went down here to get some for a thing at my church. I got 4 boxes of these, and we had so much we had to freeze them. Well, we kept them frozen, and then we used them for coffee hours for about 4 or 5 weeks. We had so much. So, anybody have any questions so far? Yes.
One person was also talking about taking donations of like scrap metal and stuff, and then bringing that in and getting the money for the scrap metal.
It's a good idea. Scrap metals? Just watch the copper in your house.
I had a youth who, for a fundraiser, actually it's in the proposal stage, where he's acquiring a couple of old cars, and he's adhering to all the safety standards regarding goggles and gloves, and for $1, everyone gets a whack at the car with a sledgehammer. And actually, it looks like a good step towards a fundraiser.
I remember going to one of those up in Maine, the Maine Vocational Institute. And every year they had this old car, and I figure it was, in those days, it was like 1950s, right? 50 cents a whack, get a 20-pound sledgehammer and give it a whack. One of the things you have to be wary of is safety.
Yep.
Okay?
Goggles and gloves.
Because you don't want kids having stuff in their eyes or hurting themselves, okay? There are safety rules, they're in the packet, and so forth. So, any other questions?
You can get the materials from the benefiting organization, possibly, to basically primarily do labor for a project?
Okay. This is not part of fundraising, this is about getting the project done, right?
No, but I'm saying, can the organization provide?
Anybody in this world can help the scout to do it. It doesn't have to be Boy Scouts. It can be anybody, all right? That will, it could be as part of a youth group or school or whatever. Family members, members of the organization we can donate for, sure, no problem. Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
What's the average funds raised by a project?
Average funds lately, since I've been keeping track, no more than $800 or $900. Well, the other thing I wanted to say, if you have money left over from the project, it has to go to the institution you're working for, the one who's benefit from your project. Like say you had $400 or $500 left over, it has to go to them. Okay? This troop can't keep it, candidate can't keep it. It's got to give it back to give it to the institution, right? So,
Excuse me, what if it's a municipality? What if it's a government? They won't accept the money.
Local government, yeah.
They won't?
Then you can,
Bring it to me, I'll get it. Take care of it.
That's disgusting.
So,
I would bring up the question, if an organization was to donate a large amount of material that was in excess of $1,000, do they have to do the council paperwork?
no, because they made a proposal to me. proposal in the beginning part of the project workbook, they go and they make a proposal of the
no.
cost. It's primary cost estimates.
Well, this is a boy who was doing a project, a paving project. The material was gonna cost him about $3,000. He contacted the manufacturer, and they said, don't fundraise, we'll donate the product. So he
Okay.
got a $3,000 donation,
It's fine.
so they don't have to do the council paperwork. That's originally, I think he was doing.
It's not money, it's material.
You see, when I sign, we sign off on the first part of the project book, okay?
Right.
This is his proposal, his estimates and the whole thing. He only estimated maybe $999. Doesn't have to turn in the financial thing, okay?
So is the financial only on dollars received or on dollars plus materials?
Let me read it to you. The advancement committee, we had a big discussion about this page, all right? And the gentleman council didn't want to get involved with this too much. What was his name? Yeah.
Anderson,
Huh?
Anderson, wasn't it, Eric?
Well, it might have been Anderson. Okay. Before completing this application, it's important you read procedures and limitations, which I went through with you, okay? I didn't see anything too much about that, but procedure and limitations. It can be found at the back of the application. That's right there. Once completed, it must obtain approval from the project beneficiary and your unit leader. Well, that's easy. There's two places there for them to sign. Let's see. Okay. And then submit the fundraising application to your council service center at least 2 weeks in advance of your fundraising efforts. You will be contacted if it cannot be approved or adjustments must be made. Okay. But we at council said, well, the guy would have to do this and take all these things that would come in. He didn't want to do that. He says, get it. Anything less than $1,000, don't have them bring it in. All right? Even if it's material, anything like that. So, I don't think anybody has brought one to council in this district yet, as far as I know. And there have been only maybe one or two that are exceeded the estimate they made. But that's okay. That extra money is going to go to the beneficiary. Okay? Any other questions?
So what if your project, or if Scout's project is estimated to be over $1,000? What was the payment?
Then he has to fill out the form. There's a bunch of stuff on the form that he has to fill out,
Okay.
all right? And he has to bring it to council 2 weeks prior to his project to start. It's kind of a holdup, isn't it?
He brings it to council and council does what?
Loses it.
Huh?
Loses it.
Brings it to council and does what? Gives it to council, walks away.
Because the
has
council says, I
someone
need this approved.
sign it. Right. So
Maybe
besides,
somebody will step up and approve it right away, maybe not. You'll have to leave it there. And have them make copies of all these things because things get lost in council, okay?
who council signs that?
So who should
Who's the
it be?
field guy down there?
Oh, talking about,
Best to get the lady at the desk to
About
sign,
Matt?
it's over.
Lady at the desk. You know, I've gone down there and there's a new person there all the time. I don't know who
It
they are.
has to be Zella, has to be the field guy.
Authorized council approval.
get it, show
I
it.
can't remember his guy's name. That's pretty bad, because I don't hang out at council. I try to stay away from the place. But if it's over $1,000, there you go. I'm just saying, if it's under 1,000 estimate, I'm not telling you to budget. I'm telling you that's what the rules are right now. Okay? If you're gonna do a fundraising dinner or something like that, try to figure out what your cost is gonna be and how much money you're gonna be getting. You don't wanna lose money on a dinner, right? It's always a good idea to commit people to have come to these dinners before you lay out money for food or whatever, so that you don't get bitten, okay? It's what they call a risk of outlay. Don't risk it. Okay.
Is there a time limit on closing out the books?
Time limit? What do you mean? If you have money in the troop treasury that has to go to somebody?
Well, if the kid finishes his project and then has to, you know, how long does he have to go and do it? Within a fiscal year, within a year, upon a certain amount of time after the project's completed?
I'm not sure I understand what you meant.
I would say immediately. Immediately. Don't, it's over then. This project's over, that should be part of the project being over, immediately.
Right, the project's over when there's a sheet in here when everybody signs this thing that the project was completed. Okay, there's one page in here. It's one of the. This is the most important page of this book. It's the completion approval. This page. Once this is the most important sheet. The rest of the book is not important. Believe me. Right?
Yes,
It's new for 2000.
I didn't think of it that way, but you're right.
I was told this by Cats.
Cats,
This is the most important sheet. The rest of the whole thing is not. But you have to make it all out. A nice book would be nice, with pictures and the whole thing. So,
Yes, right, the beneficiaries.
any other questions? Okay. I went through the concerts, battle of the bands. You could have more than one band. No, I got this thing off of the internet. That's fundraising ideas. There's a lot of gambling going on here, so I wouldn't, you know, like Texas Hold'em parties. If you ever do hold one of those, have policemen around. Because there's a lot of those, if it gets advertised and people find out that you have a lot of money involved, they'll come in and rob you, right? So watch it. All right. So that's it. Any other questions? I hope yes.
As a slight sidestep, in reading the updated advancement thing, they're talking about a Eagle Project coach.
Right.
What is that, and
Eagle Project Coach is a person,
That's your.
human being in your troop that will answer questions about the Eagle Project procedures.
so this isn't a special person from council?
No,
It's a random person from the troop?
no, not from council.
Somebody who's gone through it.
If you don't have a coach, then I'm it.
Everyone had one.
They can call me, okay? I've had a couple of calls about finance business in the last couple of weeks, and I got one. I got one last night. Kid wanted to say, I want you to sign my the financial thing, and I says, well, how much money? I said, oh, he says 750. I says, don't have to. I haven't seen you before. No. I says, well, when you come to have your project approved, we'll go through what you have to do. There's a little confusion there, isn't there? Okay? It's been fun. Yeah, no more questions? And all you gotta do is bring all this information back to your scouts.